Hey guys, Rover dude. I have a quick tech tip for you guys. My tongue got tied there. Tech tip, and it's in reference to Discovery 2. If you've been driving around and you smell like that antifreeze smell, something's leaking, you looked all over the place and you can't find it, and then if you look at your tank, you'll notice really there's no difference. But with time, you'll see that the tank will start to show that it's missing fluid. Well, I'm gonna show you guys exactly what that is, and it's actually something really simple, and it's kind of like, I guess you would call it either a radiator fuel, not radiator line, or I think it's called a rail, and it's a antifreeze rail. Okay, I don't know the exact purpose of it, but it really doesn't do anything. From what I can see, and it doesn't really, it's just like a connector that goes from one end to another. But when I show you guys, you'll understand what I'm talking about. Okay guys, so this is what the little antifreeze rail, or whatever you want to call it, looks like. And it's got 3 screws. This is approximately a 7mm, I believe it is. Already did everything that I had to do, so I wish I would have showed you guys how to do it. But anyway, where it sits is right under here, and I'll show you where my finger's at, and it's right under here, right under the manifold at the very bottom. Okay, where I'm tapping. To get to it, you would have to remove this, okay, which is not really hard, the intake, and it's just loosening that clamp, this clamp here, and I would definitely take the mass airflow sensor out. So when you do that, this whole thing right here, this piece right here, you're gonna flip it over, because if you get into taking this hose off, unless you have the special tools that's required for the clamp, you're gonna have to put a new clamp on there, buy a new clamp. All right, and the same thing here. It won't hurt it if you flip it over, okay? You'll notice that when you take these off and this comes out, you're gonna be able to flip it over this way, so that way you can access that back there. Again, if you want to change these out, you can, but it's gonna be very interesting getting those off. There is an easy way to get them off, and if you have a needle nose plier, you're gonna put one tip on this side right here, and the other tip here. I'm sorry, right here, and this part right here. I'll zoom in so you can see it. You're going to put it on this side, and the other side of the needle nose, you're going to grab it here. When you squeeze that, it's going to loosen this little tab that's right there. Okay, there's another way you can do it, and you can either put a flat screwdriver through here and pry it up, and it's going to loosen that tab. You can put them back on. It's a little tricky, and it's doing what I said before. You're going to grab these two sides right here and squeeze it together, and you're going to hear that snap. Okay, if you do bend this guy open, you're going to have difficulty getting that to snap back on. But anyway, if you should decide to replace it, you can get this in any Advanced Auto Parts, O'Reilly's, anywhere. Just get a regular clamp and put it on. And the same thing for that guy back there, this guy. But to make things easier, and this is a quick fix, when you take this off, again, just flip it over backwards, and then you'll have access to under here. Okay, you're gonna need a small, like I said, 7mm for these bolts right here, and these are the 2 tubes. One comes in and one goes out. Okay, so I flipped it over backwards. Right here there was a rubber seal. And guys, I tried everything. I actually made a rubber seal, put it on there. I put, what do you call that? It's like a sealer, like a silicone sealer. I tried that. I tried many different things, and eventually it all leaks. But if you look under there, under this manifold, right, where the piece goes right underneath, there's nothing there. It's just a hollow area. It doesn't go into the engine, it doesn't travel anywhere into the manifold, it doesn't go anywhere. So there's no sense in just going crazy looking for this part. You may end up paying for this thing at the dealer. God knows, I'm thinking maybe at least 30, 40, 50, 60 bucks. And it really doesn't do anything. So basically how to fix that, and I'll show you now. Okay. And again, I wish I would have shown you guys before. So right here, we're looking at the tube. This part, this section right here, goes into one of these tips. Goes in here, okay? And then this bottom piece right here, where my thumb is, that bottom piece right there, okay, goes into the other side. So one goes in here, one goes in there. So all you have to do is get yourself a connector. Okay, just get yourself a connector and put it in between and put the two hoses into each other and then clamp it up. The reason I put two on here was because the connector that I had, it fit real good here at the first part. Let me pull that sucker out. It's kind of hard to get out. Okay, right here. Okay, it went in really well. But then this section, the hose was just a little bigger than the connector itself. So what I did was I put two clamps on there just in case so it doesn't leak. So again, this is one of the inlet tubes, and this one here where my thumb is touching, that's one of the outlet tubes, and it goes out into the manifold, and one goes, I believe, over to where the reservoir is, over there. Okay, so yes, you do need to do this, because if not, you're going to have that constant, persistent little leak, and you're always going to smell that smell of radiator fluid around the car, and it's nothing else. This is all it is, and it's very simple. And again, you can kind of almost see it here, all right, where my fingers are. And if you actually look into it, because I actually did flip the camera around, and it's nothing. It's just an open area with three places to put the bolts in. Okay, I'm gonna actually try to see if I can flip the camera over and show you guys. Okay, so give me a second, let me give that a shot. All right, so let me put it down in here and see if I can show you guys what I'm looking for. And it's that area right there where you see like an empty section. And again, it's just for there's just for the 3 bolts, and that bolts right in there. Okay, so again, this is the piece that goes in there. And if you want to go to the dealer and try to pick one of these up, fine, not an issue. But if you want to just do a bypass from one hose to the other with the clamps, you'll be just fine. Since I've done this, I check it every once in a while to see if there's any leaks in the engine or anything, and so far so good. There's nothing. It doesn't run hot. The fluid levels, you can see, are perfect. So if you've got the money to spend, go for it. If not, I would just do the bypass on this little guy, and you should be all set. All right, well, again, thank you for watching. Subscribe, and I'll have more for you. And again, thank you very much. So as always, Rover Dude out.